In this video, we're going to talk about being true to your aims. I was talking with one of my voiceover coaches, Nancy Wolfson, who's based in LA and specializes in commercial voiceover. Highly recommend her and Braintracks Audio, her website, check it out. And we had a really interesting conversation about people's goals. And essentially, it was to do with my frustration when trying to help certain people with their voiceover business, that they had quite a lot of resistance in terms of actually putting certain things into action. And Nancy brilliantly pointed out something that she had realized through her experience of teaching a whole variety of different voice talents over the years as well, which is that basically different voiceovers, different people in all walks of life in terms of careers, sometimes apply different values to your own. I think as she phrased it, check your currency for the journey, or make your currency relevant to the journey that you're going on. And what that basically comes down to is something that I think is important to bear in mind when we're all doing goal setting, setting up our objectives and all of this very important proactive stuff. I started out this year and the end of 2020 as well by talking about how I specifically go about working out my goals, my objectives, and then from that all of the different productivity systems so that I can achieve those goals, so that I can make sure I do all the little actions every day that build up to the results. And that's all great and it's all very positive. And productivity, the whole subject of productivity, the whole industry of productivity is so active now. I think it's been exacerbated by the COVID situation to a certain degree. It's basically essentially capitalism on steroids, for better or for worse. But this whole idea of being able to utilize all of your time towards specific goals. And there is value in that, definitely. Otherwise, I wouldn't propagate it. I have found it hugely valuable. But it's about being truly, truly, truly aware of what your actual goals are. And I see this especially because I think a lot of the people that I talk to and work with think their goals are one thing, but in actual fact, they're something completely different. And I think this is the important thing that I wanted to kind of unpack. My goals with voiceover, and the majority of the voiceover that I work in is in the corporate sphere and also in the commercial sphere. My goals are monetary. By doing more work and working on more exciting stuff, yes, it's great to collaborate with other people on exciting projects and all of this kind of thing, but essentially on a corporate project, and even to a certain degree on a commercial project as well. Yes, you get that sense of pride by attaching your name to a certain organization and all of that kind of thing, which is great, but it's the money that I'm being paid which is the priority. And that's because that money enables me to do certain other things in my life, which I really like doing, which aren't voiceover. There's caveats in terms of video games, more kind of voice acting kind of stuff that links in with my background that I'm excited by. But the vast majority of my stuff is about earning money for a particular kind of reason. And therefore, I very much approach any advice that I give in this kind of realm. And sometimes people can find that useful because there is the resistance to just getting on and doing things. Because the sending the emails and all of that kind of correspondence and getting back to people, treating yourself as a voiceover business isn't the most exciting thing to do, and it's what people tend to leave at the side. But, an important thing to remember, and what Nancy pointed out, is that a lot of other voiceover people may say that that's what they want, but in actual fact, they do voiceover because they like learning, because they enjoy the social aspect as well. Now, enjoying learning and feeling as if I'm improving in something, yes, I certainly do enjoy that. And it's one of the reasons that I work with Nancy is I don't have a huge number of commercial auditions every day, say, or every week even. So it's partly the joy of feeling as if I'm practicing on something and getting better at it as well. And I also enjoy the social aspect. Definitely, voiceover artists are, generally speaking, a lot more forthcoming than I'd say actors are, for a whole variety of reasons that I could get into on another video, possibly, or maybe not. But I think it's good to kind of key in and be honest with yourself about what your real goals are, and to come to terms with that and be absolutely fine and happy with that, rather than setting yourself up for what we talked of as fake upset. It's kind of fake rage and frustration about you not getting it, or you not achieving X number of emails, or Y amount of money in a certain month, or anything else like that. If at the end of the day your objectives aren't actually those things, if it's actually more to do with the fact that you just really enjoy doing loads of classes, if you just enjoy really doing loads of classes, or you actually just enjoy spending a lot of time talking about what mic is the best, or about home studios and the whole DIY kind of thing about that, then own that and be proud of that and be happy with that. Now, caveat, again, as ever, is that don't use that as an excuse to not be productive and not pursue your goals to the best of your ability. By all means, do that first and foremost. But be clear, be aware, continue to reassess. Even in terms of, we've just finished the first quarter of 2021, and it was great for me to go back to my mood board that I did for the year and look back at certain targets and go, why? Where did that come from? So, as an example, I had certain financial targets, email targets, great, fine. Certain games and franchises that I would like to work on, and I've, enacted certain steps towards that. But also, there was something arbitrary like get a US agent. And there was no real reasoning behind that other than it sounded quite cool. And I think a number of people that I knew at the time when I was putting together the mood board had signed with US agents as UK talents, and I thought, oh, I wish I was one of those. That would make me sound more exciting than I actually am. No other real rationale behind that at all, exactly, but I put it down there, and it's not a huge kind of priority. As it is, I have signed with a US agent, and great, fantastic. If it gives me more opportunities, then brilliant. All happy about that kind of thing. But it wasn't really vitally important to me by any stretch of the imagination. It was because I'd seen other people get things and thought, oh, I should be striving for the same kind of thing because I'd put them in, as comparable to me in some way. So all I'm saying is, again, in a slightly long-winded way, Nancy was very concise about this, was continue to reevaluate what your goals actually are. Don't set yourself up to aim for other people's dreams, essentially, other people's goals. Be true to yourself on why you're in whatever you're in, with the voiceover stuff. There are so many other different aspects to it, and you want to be able to enjoy the journey as well. But, we're all aiming for slightly different destinations, very possibly anyway. I hope this video has been of some interest to you in a slightly rambly kind of way. If you're a voiceover more kind of starting out and want to know a bit more about the business side of things, then I do have a free course, completely free course on Skillshare, which is linked down below. But other than that, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time.